phone stand, and it comes with a remote. I'll have to do a video on the phone stand. Oh, seems to work pretty good. I can push this little button, and let's see, it should pause it. Well, sure enough, it really worked. Alright, now I know in one of my last videos, I understand it was hard to see exactly what I was doing, and I understand that. I had a really crappy phone stand. I have since purchased a different one, and I think I'm going to like it. I don't know. So, without further ado, let me get the yarn that I plan to use to make a pair of slippers. Now, providing I don't lose this huge remote. So first we're going to do the cast on. Let me see if you can see things good, because this baby's got a light too. I don't think we really need the light. So to cast on, we're going to go around and back. Well, first of all, we need to leave a long tail cast on because we have to close up the toe and go backwards. So I'm going to go in front of the first peg, then in back, then in front, and back, in front, and back, all the way around. Now, I did make this machine into an electric knitting machine, which, that's kind of on the noisy side too. Pull some more yarn out. Oh. That's what's going back, in front, back. Now, I do know that I need at least 55 rows. Probably do like 56. Now, I know I'm coming back to this one because I marked this one red. Here's my number 1 peg. Now, restart the counter. So, what I'm going to do to start, I'm just going to crank this around. Now, it sounds a little loud, but that's because it's on a machine. So it knits a little bit, it will knit a little bit fast when I turn it on. Problem is, this button sometimes, you got to go really slow because you don't know when you turn it if it's going to go forwards or backwards. It's really goofy. And I haven't figured it out yet. Sometimes on, you can't see it. Sometimes this, okay, there's a black thing. You can turn it forward or backwards. I would think backwards is supposed to go that way. Sometimes it goes forward. Sometimes this one does. So we'll see. But this is the motor I put on. I have a separate video for that. Or we'll just put it into this one. I don't know. So I am going to pull my yarn out as I go. I have this one plugged in. I might somehow do a no sound just because it does get kind of loud. But for now, my counter is reset. Now, this doohickey's got a light on it. Let's see what it does if I put the light on. Whoa. You can make it less. Oh, I can see better. Imagine that. So, there is a, down here underneath the handle, which I showed earlier in a different video. You can decide how fast you want this to go. I don't want it to go very fast. See? Now this time it's got to go this way. I don't get it. So I say go real slow. So you don't start taking it off. I could probably crank faster than this. Yeah, but see, I got a little knot in here, and I can hurry up and catch this, turn it off, catch this knot thing, because you never know where those are. Lord have mercy. This has to come through somewhere. There we go. Okay, not out. Alright, let's go. So like I said, I'm going to do 55 rows, because that's what it consists of. Now, another thing I want to show you. See my table? I had my brother cut a hole in here because, I don't know, I just don't like having to roll the stuff up all the time. So I went and got a cheap table from the Walmart and had him to cut a hole in it, and they sanded it down in here. I put this shelf stuff on it. I don't know, works really well for me anyways. This way when I'm making scarves, it'll just fall down into the hole, and then the scarf will just catch like in a bag or something. So we'll go up a little faster here. And this is all it does. I mean, I made, for $50, I got this adapter to make this one an electric one too. No reason why, I wanted to try it because I thought it would be kind of cool. Which is a nice addition to the Sentros. I mean, the other one I got for my birthday / Christmas, that one, those run $150. So if you want to try this out, they have them at Amazon. I think I paid $50 for them. So that's not too bad. So I'm going to continue to let this go. And I'll meet you back here at about 55 rows. Okay, I am at 56 rows. I am going to cut me a piece of a yarn tail about, oh for heaven's sakes, this is really staticky. There's no right or wrong really how big the tail should be. I'm going to take it out of, for heaven's sake, I mean, F me. I don't know why this is so staticky, good lord. Hopefully this one isn't. Now, I'm going to use a very dark contrasting color so that when we do the crochet cast off, I will be able to see it really well. So for this part, you do want to go around a good 7, 8, 9 times so that the stuff doesn't fall out. So let's put that on real quick. So I'm going to do about 7, 8 rows. And now I just dropped a couple of things. Well, that's not going to be good. Well, I can fix it. Just give me a second and I'll show you what we're going to do. These things happen. I dropped 2 stitches. I will make sure to pick them up in a second. I'm going to show you how I'm going to pick it up so that I don't lose them completely. But sometimes this happens. You gotta pay attention, you know, make sure your yarn is out and not getting caught on anything like mine did. But hey, these things happen, and then I'll just show you how I'm going to fix it in a little bit when it comes around again. Which are the ones that came off right down here. All right, I'm going to let it go around a couple times so I can reach it decently without pulling anything. Okay, so because I'm going to crochet the ends together, we use this waste yarn. And in order to take that waste yarn off, all we have to do is crank it around 2 times. Now remember, that's where I dropped the darn thing. And it does happen. See, it's just going to start to fall off, and that's alright. That's what you want it to do. Now the whole thing is off the loom. Alright. So, let me take this and put this off to the side. Get this loom moved, knitting machine moved, so I can show you what to do back here where I dropped. Actually, I dropped 2, I want to say. So, we have to be very, very careful with that. So, I'll meet you back here when I'm going to fix it. Okay, so since I got this new fancy dancy handy recording thing, see if I can let you guys see what I'm doing. So, remember I told you I dropped a couple of stitches. It happens, it's okay. You don't have to rip the whole thing out and start over again. Now, I just took this little stitch marker. I found the 2 stitches that I dropped. Okay. Dropped this one and I dropped this one. It's alright, it happens. But we need a crochet hook. I have here a 4mm crochet hook. All we're going to do is we're going to go up into this. See, I dropped this one and I dropped this one. So I'm going to put my crochet hook in this one down here on the bottom. And here is the yarn. You can see it's just hanging there. This is the one that we got to loop it through. So we take the straight end that was right there and just pull it through that one that we dropped. Now it is fixed. I'm going to pull that up a little bit so that I don't drop it again. Now I can pull the stitch marker out of that one for a minute very carefully. I just want to kind of pull that up a little bit. Now I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to get my crochet hook. See, I still got the stitch marker on there. I'm going to take that out for a minute. I'm going to grab that straight stitch, carefully pull it through. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and put this stitch marker back on this one so that it doesn't fall out of the stitch. Make sure you grab all the pieces of yarn because it'll split sometimes. Okay, now I feel more comfortable. There we go. Pull that up. Now I'm going to put my stitch marker on this one. Now when it comes time to, when I'm stitching this all together, I'll have my stitches right there. But see how nice that went up? Well, you can't even tell, just straight up. So I dropped this one and I dropped this one, and now they're fixed. Now I can continue on with the project, which for this section, this is the one I need to stitch up the back and get my yarn out of here. This is the one we're going to line everything up. So these are the 2 that are at the end. We want to, now remember, the stitch marker up here, so we don't forget them. And you want to start with the 2 back here. Now, the reason we use this contrasting yarn is I tried to use white that one time and it was really hard to see. But see how well you can see the stitches? And as you go down, we're just going to take that top one. Now again, like I said, I have a 4 millimeter crochet hook. I'm going to put it in this one. I'm going to, you don't want to pick up the black, you just want the yellow orangey-ish one. And you're just going to pull it through. Now I'm going to come back down here to this one. I'm going to go underneath it. And I'm going to pull it through. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pull this one. And pull it through. And then again, down here. Because this is going to give it a nice edge. And then just pull it through. Come back up to this one. Take your crochet hook. Pull it through the loop. Come back down to this one. I think you guys can see what I'm doing, I hope. And pull through. I'll take this one from this side and pull through. It's going to give it a nice edge. Okay? And try to make sure you don't pick up any of that black. I mean, if you do, you do. There's ways around that too. Trying to just get the, and pull through. So we're going to do this until I get down to the end, but you can see it's making a rather nice edge right here. So I'm going to finish crocheting down to the edge. Remember, just underneath, pick up, underneath on top, back down to the bottom, back up to the top. So using that contrasting yarn really makes a difference in being able to see what you're grabbing. Okay? So that's why it's really important to use a contrasting yarn. Now here we go. This is where I dropped those stitches, and I do not want that black there, I want it back here. What I'm going to do, you can see I have 2 stitches on this stitch marker. I want to take this one first. There's one here, one here. So I'm going to try and get underneath that. I will take it off in a little bit. This black is in my way here a little bit. Let me unclip it a little bit. I'm going to come off both of them. Let me hurry up and re-grab this one for a minute. Now, I'm going to grab that. Just pull it up here a little bit. So I got it grabbed. Just going to pull it through like so. See, go back over here. See where that one is, right there. Sometimes they like to, if you pull too hard, it likes to hide. Get that one. Now let me pick up this other last drop stitch. I'm going to pull it up a little bit, but then what happens is it tightens up the other ones on the other side. So I got that one. I'm going to pull it through. Come back over here. I come down to this one. So let's see how it's going to give a nice edge at the end. So I'm going to finish. I'll show you how I finish when I get down here, okay? Alright, now let me show you. I'm at the last 2 here. Now, sometimes I will put a stitch marker on them just so I can see them, because like I said, sometimes when you pull on it, They like to hide, and we don't like them when they're hiding. So I am going to grab this one. Oh, I split it again. Sometimes this yarn likes to split. I don't know why. Some yarn likes to split easier than others. Okay, I'll pull that one through. And before I take the stitch marker out, I'm going to get underneath there. Make sure I have all of it. And I do not. You want to make sure you grab all it. This is some really splitty yarn. I don't know. Didn't happen on the other one. Just take that off. There. This does not want to get down underneath there. And this happens sometimes too. Don't worry about it. It gets a little tight from all the pulling and stuff. So, don't worry. It happens. I'm just going to pick it up. There we go. Let's take the stitch marker. I'm trying to look at the camera and do this at the same time. It's not working. Okay, there we go. Oh, it just fell off again. There we go. Pull that through, and then here's our tail. Here's our tail. We're just going to take your tail, put it over the hook, and pull it through. And we'll just tighten it up. It'll make a knot. And then once we take the black out, we'll put another knot in there. And now for this, because we did the crochet cast off, I'll find the end of the yarn here. And we'll just pull this off and it'll all unravel really nice. And then we just take, let me get to the end. I just take mine and wind it around my fingers. So now this is an easy waste yarn cast off because we were crocheting the ends back and forth together. So I just take it off. It comes off really nice. Okay, just pull it off and then wind it back up in a ball. I have a small Ziploc baggie that I keep contrasting yarn in. Okay, so that you know you have multiple different colors depending on what you're using. So go ahead and pull your waste yarn off, and then we'll come back with the rest. Okay, so we can see we got this, nice crocheted edge, and this, made it in a knot. Now for the toes, because I did the drawstring cast on, we're just going to take this and it's like a little drawstring bag. You just kind of fiddle with it a little bit so that it doesn't get so too bunchy or anything like that. And I don't like slippers with bunchy toes. And I'm probably not going to close it completely all the way, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my yarn to close up the hole. So I'm fine with having a little bit of a bigger hole on these, because once I get them together I will go around it and it'll close up the hole on its own. Okay, so in this part we want to kind of fold this in half, and right about here I folded it in half. I'll show you again. It's in the camera. Up. So I took and I folded it in half here. So this is right about where the halfway mark is. So I'm just going to take my stitch marker. You can use whatever you want. You can use a piece of string, loop earring, bobby pins, you know, whatever you have. I'm just going to clip that. So what we're looking for here now is, see, we got all these V shapes. Oh yeah, we got all these V shapes here. I don't know if you guys can see with that light like that. Let me try a different light. Oh, that's better. See, you got these V's. We're going to be going in between. See, they got this little bar thing. So we're going to be going in between these right there. See, if I put it down, you see the upside down V. If I pull it up, you see these little bars that are holding it together. But first, we're going to get a darning needle or a tapestry needle or something, because we have to close up the toe. Like I said, I want mine to be so it's a little bit wider for the toes. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, this is just me personally, I'm just going to throw a stitch right on in there so it doesn't come apart. Now, so I have this hole right here. Now, you can pull it tight, okay, if you so choose. You can pull it tight, that's fine. I don't want to. So, instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these two ends together, and I'm going to go in, so I ended here, I'm going to go in all these stitches all the way around that toe area. Okay, now pull it up here. And I came up here, so go back down in the same section, and you want to make sure that you're following this around in a circle. Okay, now we're going to tighten it up a smidge. There, about like so. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go around it again. I'm going to go back in where I started. And I'm going to go around it another time. Let me pull this through until you get it to where you want it. Maybe you want a little bit of an open toe, I don't know. So we're going to follow this around again. Oh. There we go. Sorry, this might be a little bit of a long video. Now, I'm going to keep going around that until I have it to where I want it, and then we'll close everything off here. This is probably about how much I'm going to do. But mind you, this part will be on the inside. We will flip this. So see, there's only just a small hole there. Just a small hole. I think this lighting is a lot to be desired here on this new tripod. What if I went with no light? So, Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put a stitch in right here. I'm just going to kind of go across to close it off the rest of the way. Okay, but yet not cinching it so tight that, I don't know, this is the way I like them. Everybody's got their own, you know, whatever. I'm gonna just go through one more time, I think. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Now we want to make sure, this is the part you really want to be clear on. See, I got the V, upside down V. We want to make sure that that is what we are working on. So let me get up to my first one. So I'm going to go underneath. See when I told you these little bar things? Okay, I'm going to take 3 little bars because it sounds good. And then I'm going to come back over here. I got 1, 2, 3 bars. Okay, so there's the top part of your toe. Now we're just going to keep going up. Now the last one we came out was right here. Was right here, so you can follow it. Just make sure that's the right one. Let's see. I'll do 2 bars once. Just pull it through, and then right here, go back into the one that you just came out of, so you know you don't want to end up with a hole. And so you got a couple of bars there. Bring it on up. You don't have to cinch it tight just yet. You can just kind of leave it because we're kind of going back and forth here. Now I came out of this one, so 1, 2, that might come out of this one, 1, 2, come back to this one. You can see where it's, you see where it was in this one. So 1, oops, grab that second one. And we're going to do this all the way up until you get to wherever you marked the halfway mark, okay? So see, you can see where I stitched here. Once I pull it tight, you won't even be able to see where all my stitches were because it'll match up really nice. Okay? So all you do is pull on it, and it, look, it all just comes together nicely. So really, once you get to the top, we just pull it straight, and see, it's pretty much all even here. We're going to go from one side to the other side. Okay, I just went right through, pull it through, and then get yourself a loop here, put your needle through there, and you're just going to make a knot or two. Okay, and that's it. Then this part is done. All we need to do is the back part. Okay, this is all there is to it. I'm going to make one more small knot. I want to make sure it's secure. Go through there and pull it through. And that's it. Now let me go start on the back side. Okay, so I forgot to start the video right away. We're just going to do this little whip stitch. I'm just going around. So see, we got a stitch here and a stitch here. We're just going to make sure we pick both those up. And it just makes a loop around here. I'll pick up this one. Bring it down a little bit. Pick up this one. And just go around. Okay. You don't want to go down too far because it'll make your back like way back here. You want to get the top stitches. Okay. Top stitches. One. There's one. And we're just going to stitch around. Okay. Quite easy. So do that all the way until you get to the end. Okay. And then I'll show you how to put a little heel. Okay, so this is going to be the inside part of the slipper. Here's down here, like the heel part. I'm just going to turn this up a little bit. There's some on the opposite side. Let me get my thread to where I need it. Just make sure you have your slipper the way you want it. Here. So I'm going to take this little piece of the heel. We'll make it a diamond. No, what is that? That's a triangle. I don't even know my shapes. And see, my thread is right there. Try and line it up with the line down the back. When I come up right into the middle there, pull my yarn through. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around this little heel part. You don't need to pick up too much, just a little bit. And then just move your way down so that you can, it kind of forms like the heel part of a shoe. And it doesn't need to be too big. Alright. So I'm going to tie a little bit of a knot right here. Because I'm going to pass it through to the other side. Just a little bit. Now, we're going to go underneath this piece right here. Underneath. And now, I'm going to stitch up to this corner. Okay? And then we'll knot it off. I forgot to tell you, to hide in the tails, I just go like in between the thread, or in between the, see, there's two things here. These kind of go down and in between. Pull it apart. Go in the middle of the two pieces. Pull your yarn through. And then you want to pull that a little bit. Cut it. And just pull it. And it'll go right back in. It's like magic. So there you go. House shoe. This is for like a 10 to 11 inch foot. Okay? There you go. Okay, the yarn that I used is called Impeccable Speckle by Loops and Threads. Let's see, 160 yards. Now, I had to use a little bit from another ball to make two of the 10 to 11 inch slippers. So if you're making smaller slippers, you could get away with one ball making a couple pairs. So that is the yarn that I used. Oh, the color, try it the other way. The color was, oh, Hot Sunshine. Oh, well, there you go. So there's the yarn that I used. Impeccable Speckle. Loops and Threads. Alright, so I hope this video turned out a little bit better. I'm still working on the tripod. This is all, I've never had a tripod like that before, so I'm working on it. Have a good night.